Michael R. Hi, Matt. I picked Reed Waller's birthday as an answer only because I Google searched comics history on August 3rd. I noticed that Dave drew an Omaha the Cat cover for Reed. That was images of Omaha for kitchen sink as a benefit for Reed Waller when he was having health problems. I picked August 3rd because I think that was the day you were calling Dave that day for Please Hold. So I thought it would have been a cool answer when one of you would have figured out that Reed's birthday was the same day as the phone call. And it's like, yeah, you were very helpful in that sense because I'm going dragged into a month and I still don't know what I'm going to say about this. It's like, ask Matt. Matt is sitting at a computer. Matt can Google search Reed Waller and would have picked up August 3rd right away. So now that's in my mental toolbox of Please Hold for Dave Sim assets. If there's something that you can't think of, ask Matt. It'll take him a couple of minutes to Google search, but fill in some dead air, and Bob's your uncle. We would have known that August 3rd was Reed Waller's birthday. I thought that would have been funny. It is funny. It would have been much funnier if I had known, okay, this is an over to Matt thing. When is Reed Waller's birthday? Which would have then morphed into its own rabbit hole, Dave Sim comic art metaphysics, which, I'm still astonished at the fact that we're all in this comic art metaphysics context, and you had no idea when you picked August 3rd because it was Reed Waller's birthday, and because it was August 3rd, you had no idea that it was August 3rd, 1949, and that Dave Sim has been laboring tirelessly for 6 months on the many deaths of Margaret Mitchell, all of which took place August 11th, 1949. It's that's amazing that those two things occurred simultaneously.
Well, not simultaneously, but within 2 weeks.
Within 8 days. I mean, come on. you're being comic art metaphysics resistant to a point that fail of human understanding as far as I'm concerned. But that's differences in people too. Benjamin Hobbes is like that. It's the Walking Dead was the 37th issue of Service in Hell, and it was around my 37th birthday, but it didn't come out on my 37th birthday. It's like, come on, guys, work with me here.
Well
anyway, go ahead.
It's not a bullseye, but it's still really close.
It's really close. Close enough for government work and close enough for atomic weapons. And then Michael R. follows up with my answer this month. For this month is Dick Tracy by Chester Gould. And my question attached to that would be, what comic strip detective drawn in a primitivist cartoon style always had a level of popularity orders of magnitude greater than Secret Agent X9, which William Randolph Hearst paid Dashiell Hammett, the Dashiell Hammett, and Alex Raymond boatloads of money to directly compete with? The answer is Dick Tracy by Chester Gould, and major props for Chester Gould on that. It's like, it's not about a best-selling novelist and the most realistic cartoonist. It's about this thing in my head, this element, this part of being Chester Gould that when I sit down and do Dick Tracy, it's going to blow that out of the water, even though my drawing ability and my writing ability is probably not above, much further above Ernie Bushmiller's Nancy. So, on you guys. This is a mysterious thing, and I can't explain it, but it's right there in front of you. You can throw giant piles of money at unbelievably talented people, and they're never going to be able to compete with Chester Gould, decade after decade after decade. Michael R. then says, when I received the Last Day hardcover Kickstarter, I also received the Last Day widescreen auction catalog, second printing. First thing I noticed was that it was a bit thinner than the first printing. The ones auctioned off were missing. Will there be a third printing, and will there be new additions to the catalog? And as you say, yes, there is a third printing. The Last Day widescreen auction catalog and the idea of auctioning widescreen remarque editions at a moment of Cerebus, both of those were post Turtles 8 Kickstarter, actually during the Turtles 8 Kickstarter, where, okay, this isn't bringing in, I am now fixed for life amounts of money. It's bringing in large amounts of money, but keeping it in perspective, I've got to figure out other ways to make money. That was one of those, this should work. A Moment of Cerebus is like Cerebus HQ, probably in competition with the Cerebus Facebook page. Don't know which would be the more popular in that. Here's a catalog with one-of-a-kind Dave Sim color pieces, widescreen Dave Sim color pieces, and we're going to auction them at a Moment of Cerebus. Presumably, this is like a license to print money. It's like, we have certainly just found out that it's the opposite of that, I think you would have to agree.
It's a license to ask for money. I mean,
it's a license to get a bunch of blank stares, even if the amount of money being asked for turns out to be, okay, I have $10. Can I get $11?
Well, and part of the problem was I didn't get the catalog right away, so I didn't know when I was supposed to be putting stuff up. And then it was one of those, like Michael got it, so Michael's asking. It's like, I don't know. I kept saying, I don't know. If I knew, I would. And now I got the catalog. I have the list from Rolly of what still is at the Off-White House, or actually out in Camp David. And I could easily, okay, let's get the ball rolling, start doing this. The problem is there the heat there of people going, oh yeah, I'm interested in this, or is it no, that was 6 months ago. We don't care about that. And it's like, well, okay, but now I have the information.
Right.
So I think the next, I did say after the $10 one that just sold, of the next one will not be fear of missing out. It's going to be I'm trying to figure out how I phrase this nicely. Guido wants you to get in the car and go for a ride. You might want to throw money at him so that he doesn't do that.
Right.
We're not going to break your kneecaps as long as you buy one of these for a set amount of money. It's what's the basement level of sales that everyone feels comfortable making. Not $10, much higher than $10. Like 50, 60. I mean, we'd like them all to go for $497, but we also understand that's not going to happen every time.
Right, right. Which is interesting in itself that that is the case. I think this will be a thing that will cause great wonderment in the Cerebus fandom years and years from now, where people are going to be going, I could have got that for $10.
Well, and that's
why didn't anybody else get it for $10? And I think part of the problem is I'll be interested to get your take, but I'll just interrupt to say one of the problems was that I sent one to each of the brain trusts, and consequently, each member of the brain trust has one of these, and that pulls the whole marketplace momentum. If you take those 10 people and say, here's a free one, they're now over in the oil painting category. They're just staring at you going, I already got mine.
Well, I think part of it is that each one is just unique enough that it's not like, well, we know there's X number of them. This one's nice, but is it as nice as the one that's coming in 2 weeks, or supposed to be coming in 2 weeks? And at one point when I got Rolly sent me all the images, but not, it wasn't the catalog. It was just, these are the covers we have. And I numbered them 1 through, I think, 16. And I'm like, okay, anyone can throw out a dollar amount, and if it's high enough, I'll say, okay, yeah, we'll take that. And Michael was one of the guys going, well, I'm like, if there's a page that you want, or if there's a cover you want, let me know, and I can make this happen. He's like, well, I kind of like this one, but I kind of like that one. And I'm like, okay, well, pick one and throw a crap load of money at it.
Right.
And I'm kind of curious when I list the next one, because I'm just going from the ones I know haven't sold in the catalog from the beginning of the catalog to the what's left, and I'm just I'm going from page 1 to the end, and I'm kind of interested okay, so is one gonna pop and all of a sudden everybody's, oh yeah, that's the one I want, and it's
right.
I hope so, but at the same time, I mean, I guess at a certain point it becomes, what's plan B if nobody, like I think it's page 1 where it's the early one that, it's been so long since you had drawn old Service, you forgot he only had one ear, and I'm thinking, well, that's a rarity that, if you're into rarities, that's a rarity, and I put it up, and everybody went, meh. And then nobody bid on it, nothing. I'm like, okay, let's try this with the next one.
Right. It's and from my point of view, it's like they're already done, and it's like it didn't work the way I hoped it would work. It did work pretty much the way I thought. The likelihood is this is how it's going to go this way. It's this ongoing. You can get something for really, really cheap that actually is probably going to go for major bucks, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, from whatever else. This is a thank you for being a regular viewer of A Moment of Cerebus. I mean, part of me is going, okay, why doesn't somebody go, okay, that'll sell this to me. Really, at this point, if I can bid like $40 or $30 and say I want that one, it'll be like, okay, for Matt, that's another one that he doesn't have to worry about. There you go. And it's like, okay, now I got it. I'm going to put it up on eBay. Presumably, it would go for more than $30, or is the the kill radius on this just so massive in 2023, it won't even work on eBay. It won't work at heritage auctions. If you tried to do one of them and started at $1, you couldn't get $1 for it.
Well, I know that one of them was at Heritage, but it was one of those. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta keep an eye on that. And then original art pages were dropping. I just got a notification email that page 3 of Narutibus is going up, and page 1 or page 7 preliminary from Sodor, and I'm going, well, see, that's the problem. Is if something big drops and it sucks all the life out of, we're not going to watch that auction. We're going to be watching the big auctions. It's like, and I'm going, and in my head, I'm going, okay, just check Heritage every couple of days. I mean, it used to be that I would throw in a token bid that would get blown out of the water, but you can only do that so many times before you're like, this is kind of starting to hurt my head. Like, I know I'm not going to get this. I know I have, this is because I always in my head go, okay, what's the maximum I can safely bid where I won't get killed when it shows up in the mail?
Right.
And it's like, that's about, with the buyer's premium, $150. Anything more than that, and I'm going to have some splaining to do. So, but it's like, anything service that goes on Heritage is not going for $150. It will at least blow that out of the water. It might be one of these where I could have had it if I bid $5 more, but most of the time it's, somebody is hunting on Heritage. And it's like, so if we put the last day remarks, is there somebody that's going to be, oh yeah, or is it going to be more of a, well, that's the nickel and dime stuff, and we're going to the high rollers table.
Yeah, and it also, anytime you do multiple anything, the first one sells for the most amount of money, and then it starts dropping from there. That's sort of like a hard and fast rule for art of any kind in the comic book field, and particularly with Cerebus and Dave Sim. I think it was Benjamin Hobbs that commented on that with variant covers and things like that. The first one that goes up on eBay goes for the big bucks, and then it's like, well, okay, if you just waited until the third one went up, you could get it for a quarter of that or a fifth of that. Very, very, very mysterious process anyway, but definitely entertaining, and we do have a future on these in terms of, if you're listening to this and going, yeah, where is my head at? I can get one of these for like $40. Get one for $40 and not be saying, 20 years from now, I could have gotten one of those for $40. And it's like, oh yeah. No, I can prove it to you. Here's the whole history of the widescreen auction catalogs, even the catalogs themselves. It's like, I've got probably the only 30 or 40 third printings that exist. And when I'm looking for something else out back at Camp David, I'll run across them and go, oh yeah, those will probably be incredibly rare someday for the people who got first printing and a second printing. I should do something with them. And it's like, until I'm looking for something else out back at Camp David, I'm not going to see them again. And the same thing goes through my head. As Puck said, what fools these mortals be.
I mean, I keep putting the link up for, here's where to get the last day through Diamond. Here's where to get the remarks through service downloads. I'm trying to remember what the third one is. Then the last one is, and here's how to get here's the link to get the catalog. And because I originally had said when the catalogs first started coming out, if you want a copy of all of these, you can get the catalog and you'll have all the sketches. If that's all you care about is the sketches, here you go. Here's a book, all of them in it. Now, if you want a specific one, well, okay, that's slightly more money.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right. Yes. Yes. That was my theory as well. There are so many Dave Sim theories that look so good on paper when you come up with them. And then you go, that one just didn't fly. That was the classic Led Zeppelin, kaboom.